Yukon, small town called Mayo. We're at Jim Shockey's lodge, one of the most famous hunters in the world. We're here looking for a bull moose. We had a long trip from Toronto, layover in Vancouver, then we were in Whitehorse for a day. Finally made it here. We got some clear skies and it looks like some low temperatures ahead of us. So the equipment that I brought on this hunt, I brought a 300 Win Mag, equipped with a Leupold scope. I brought my Leupold rangefinder, and then I brought a different variety of clothing because you really know what kind of weather you're gonna get out there. You could get some snow, you could get sunshine, you could get rain. The weather was way hotter than we expected it to be. It was about 25 degrees Celsius. A little warmer than yesterday, but yeah. At least it's not blistering hot. Hopefully they're still moving. How did the Big Moose trip come about? Well, that was how my dad likes to call the moose out in the Yukon, and it was originally his idea, but some business reasons he couldn't make the trip. So when I found that out, I invited my good buddy Frazer to come with me, and he immediately said yes, and we started planning and practicing and getting ready.
We're on the trip of a lifetime right now. About to get a big fucking moose. It's gonna be crazy.
Let's go, Dad. You really got to be prepared for anything out there because you're being flown into the middle of nowhere, landing on the river, and you're setting up camp, you're living out of a tent. So you get something wet and you're going to be wet and you're going to be uncomfortable. But definitely a problem for us was the weather. When we first landed, we were about 3 miles downriver from our camp, so that's where we set a target and made sure the rifle was still on point. We finally made it. We're in the middle of nomads land. Gonna take a shot here, make sure the rifle's still on point. And we got another 3 mile boat ride upriver. So we'll get to camp, and we got 6 hours before we're allowed to hunt. That's just a law here in the Yukon because we fly in by plane. They don't want people finding the moose in the air, landing, shooting it. You know, you got to give them a chance a little bit. Our guide, his name was Dave Wallace. He was an RCMP officer, and he lived in Whitehorse. Great guy, and he just loved being out there. He treated that camp like it was his own, like he owned that land, and he just respected it completely. And he ended up being a really, really awesome guide. If I were to go back to that camp, I would be requesting going back with Dave 100%. By the time we left, it was almost just like we had known each other for years and years and years. Being out where the moose are in the Yukon, your more dangers are going to lie with grizzly bears, wolves, or just even personal injury. You know, you're hiking these mountains and you can get heat exhaustion or dehydration. These bear tracks. It's a good size bull. To attract a moose, it's funny. They're pretty dumb. Dumb or curious because they're so big. Maybe you can do some calling for them. You can have a paddle and just rake it against a tree so it sounds like they're raking their antlers on it. day, if you're a big moose, you don't really have many predators out there.
First morning, going up the river, on the bend, we see one moose standing on the bank, and a bull standing in the water. We have about 58 inches. They're sparring a little bit here and there, and grunting back and forth. Such beautiful animals. This is amazing.
I'll take him later. But it's a good sign though that like he's coming back out and challenging and.
He's bust it out again. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
He was so unique. Like he just gnarly all over the place, not very symmetrical at all, but not big enough that I want to take him with the rifle. So it was just a very cool experience.
I got convinced to turn down a 58-inch bull by Frazer and our guy Dave, because we're gonna see a bigger one. We're breaking records apparently.
His ethics and respect for that land is something that it's nice to see, and he won't just let a client come there and just shoot the first moose that they see so that he knows that his job's done. He wants to take the biggest moose out of the area that we can find within those 10 days so that the smaller moose can grow to be those big moose, and it's a proper ethics and conservation.
I just want to break my own record, which is 0. So 58 inches is, puts me right up in the book. So if I don't get this bull this trip, it's Pelican's head on the bull.
So you're starting to second guess yourself?
I wanted to take it the entire time.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, I did.
It's not record breaking though.
I don't need a 75+ inch bull on my fucking first bull. 58 inches. We can do better. Famous last words.
We're in the Yukon. There's tons of moose.
That's what I was told about Newfoundland, alright. On day 2. It's about 2 o'clock. No members. The decision to not take that 58-inch bull yesterday is really starting to eat me.
We didn't anticipate how hot it was going to get.
I think he's nervous.
It was so hot, nothing was moving during the day. 25 degrees Celsius, and you're a moose that's got a coat that's good for -30, -40. You're just going to bed down during the day, wait for the evening to come, and then you're going to get up and go feed. So day 3 was really stressful. Hot weather and hunting is not an easy thing. Everything just slows down. Nothing likes to move. So I started to stress out a little bit on day 3. We were here about an hour or so ago, and these were a lot more fresh looking than they are even right now. And this is a big moose. Those are some big tracks.
I think I'd rather just kind of hightail it down to that area for the first thing in the morning just to see.
Yeah, at least down to here or something, or see it.
Yeah, just
one step.
yeah. And if we see something on the way as we're motoring through, then we'll stop. But get down there for the early part of the morning at least. Because that one's got big feet. Big feet.
Yeah.
You know what they say about moose with big feet.
Big track.
Big feet, big track. Day 4.
Day 4.
Day 4. Haven't seen any moose yet.
Well, today.
Today. I've seen 9 moose in total. Seen 2 good bulls that I've been convinced to turn down. Day 4, the stress was worse. We started to see less animals, and it got hotter and hotter and hotter, and the stress just got more and more and more. And I had Frazer and our guy they're trying to make me laugh, and you know, you gotta love them for it. First day, not even 30 minutes into the hunt, we've had a moose on the ground. Now
You can't shoot the first moose. You can't shoot the first moose you see in the Yukon, I think.
What if it was a 70?
If it was a 70, okay, that's different if it's a 70, but 58, I was saying, looking at the footage, I think that's like a 55.
On the 5th day, we decided to actually go back, delayer. I told Frazer I'm going to put on my lucky boxers, and he got mad at me because he was like, you got lucky boxers and you haven't been wearing them this entire time. All of a sudden you just see trees start to move and hear trees breaking, and he's with his antlers back there, and we can hear him, but we can't see him yet. At one point you could see his antlers through the trees, and we just start calling to him, and he starts calling back, and Dave starts calling, he starts racking up. I start getting the gun ready. And we were calling him for about 45 minutes and just watching the trees break, and he's just pissed off. It's always the ethical thing to try and put your best shot placement on a moose. So the best shot placement for a moose is going to be just behind the shoulder blade. So you're going to go right behind the back shoulder. You can trace with your crosshair, so you can go up the front leg to the middle of the shoulder, and then just go a couple inches over to your right, and then right or left, and then pull the trigger.
Wait. Let him come across.
Once you make that shot and you see the reaction from the animal, and you can see the air coming out, you know that you placed an ethical shot on them. There's no better feeling for relief.
I think he's dead.
You respect the life of that animal and everything that he's going to give you, and the meat that you're going to be able to provide to not only yourself, but we donate it to the natives out there as well. So that moose is going to feed a lot of people. From our scoring, his rack, we scored him at 60 inches. So he was a 60-inch bull moose for the Yukon.
Oh. Feels so good when you get him to move. Oh yeah. September 15th, we got our first moose.
After last night and some calling, watching him break up some trees and hit him back in the bush there, he finally stepped out and took the shot and got the job done. So now the real work begins. So we got the meat loaded up in the plane. We're gonna fly it up to Mayo now, and it's been one hell of a trip. We've done a 3-hour argo ride, sitting on top of a moose head, cutting down trees just to get up to camp here.
do some exploring down at another camp with our guy Dave, and it should be a good couple of days. The weather here is absolutely unbelievably hot for the Yukon. It's September 16th, so it's been good.
After 10 days in the bush, we are back here in Mayo at the lodge, waiting for our drive back to the airport to head back to Vancouver, then to Toronto. It's been an awesome experience. Couldn't say anything bad about our whole entire trip.
Anyone that has a chance to do this or the willingness to do this, just do it. Don't think about it, just do it. It will be a life-changing experience.